Hello, welcome to the Snap UK. We're here at Chateau Griff, and there's 4 of the 5 of us this week. Paul is having job stress. Not
gave him the real reason.
I know. Normally we claim it's shit, but he's got job stress.
He's only got
job
stress because he keeps shitting himself at work.
But yeah, we're back because last week we couldn't record because it was like really hot, and
none of us wanted to travel.
I mean, judging from the stats, a lot of our listeners aren't in the UK. If you aren't in the UK, you might not realise that it was the hottest day in the UK ever last Tuesday.
And I had to deal with idiots who think that all equipment works when it's 40 degrees. James.
Well, I wanted to buy some fucking ice creams.
Yeah.
And
my kids wanted ice creams as well.
Yeah. Why are you stopping the kids eat ice creams?
Yeah. Gary?
I mean, it's good. It's good for the child obesity epidemic that is currently blighting our nation,
the country.
But yeah, no,
John just walks around festivals slapping ice creams out of children's hands.
That's what I did this weekend. The only reason I went to
the walking around going HFSS, bang.
I went to the festival just to slap some kids. But no,
strong start to the pod,
isn't it just? Let's start with some news though, and I guess we better start with talking of children. Kyler Murray, he signed a $230.5 million deal, 5 years, $160 million of that's guaranteed. It's $500,000 more than alleged dickhead Deshaun Watson. Ends a period of seeming discontent with Murray removing any mention of Cardinals from his social media. Murray has a passer rating of 87.4 in 2019, 94.3 in 2020, and 100.6 in 2021. Is this a good deal for everyone involved?
It's a better deal for the Cardinals than it is for Kyler Murray.
Pray tell.
Right. So you're right. This is this 5-year deal worth new money. It's 5 years of new money, shall we say? So it's a 5-year extension. So the actual deal runs for 7 years to 2028. It's less guaranteed money. So guaranteed at signing, I think it's 104 million, but I think it'll end up at 160 million. So when you compare that to Deshaun Watson's, who is 5-year deal of 230 million guaranteed money, there's going to be players coming into the NFL, renegotiating a new contract, who aren't in the NFL now before Kyler Murray has an opportunity to renegotiate his deal. So yes, it's a good deal for the Cardinals, but I don't think it's a great deal for Kyler Murray because in 3-4 years' time, he's stuck in that deal. So yeah, the new money, I think it works out to something like 46 million.
It makes him the second highest per year, doesn't it?
That would make him the second highest per year. But actually, when you work it over the 7 years of what he's left after contract, it's 36 million a year. So yeah.
But then, if that allows the team some wriggle room after paying that much, and it wins him a Super Bowl, then it's a great deal, isn't it?
If he's purposely gone out and said, "I'm going to take less money for the fact that I'm going to give the team more money to build around me," because he does need those weapons around him. He's not Tom Brady, or he's not.
Still seems terribly unlikely from Kyler Murray.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think as well. If he has gone down, fair play, and he's obviously set for life with 160 million guaranteed. You can't argue that, but it seems very un-Kyler Murray like.
Fair enough.
Maybe he just doesn't want to be Aaron Rodgers. In terms of Aaron Rodgers just got paid to stay, and he's basically just thrown away his chance of winning another Super Bowl.
But this is the problem with Aaron Rodgers' contract a long time ago. He signed like a 6-7 year deal, and it meant that you get to the end of 4 or 5 years, and suddenly you've got younger quarterbacks who probably haven't got the same amount of success that Aaron Rodgers has, who are getting paid more than him. Now, like I said, if you're a Tom Brady character, you're like, fine, don't worry, I don't care, I'm winning. But most quarterbacks aren't that person. They want they're competitive beasts and they want to get paid. And they want to be the person who's getting paid the most.
Plus, how many more years has Tom Brady got alive? Like 6 or 7. So he doesn't need the 46 million.
It's fine with him. But yeah, I think, come to 2025, I reckon Kyler Murray's going to be scrubbing his social media again and saying, I want a new contract.
Yeah, I don't think he's there past the next 2 or 3 years. I'm surprised that everyone's so high on this in the first place. He's not worth the money. He just isn't. He's not a leader. You will not win a Super Bowl with Kyler Murray. That's it. End of the situation. You will not win. You will be competitive.
They're all in now, aren't they, on him? They were all in at the moment. They had nowhere to go, did they?
No, they didn't have anywhere to go. But
at least they've got some trade capital if it goes wrong.
3 years from now, they'll be looking for a trade partner. He'll be worth at least 2 first-round picks because he'll still be young enough. Someone will pay the money because the contracts will continue to go up, so his won't look so absurd. Yeah. And he'll have a shot somewhere else where maybe they can manage him better. But I don't think he's good for the Cardinals, other than he keeps them relevant. But I don't think you win a Super Bowl with Kyler Murray.
I'd probably agree
This is
with
where
that.
you cut this bit and play it back to me at the end of the season. But,
later this year at home.
When they've won the Super Bowl.
And that's fine. But I don't know. Like, would you want him instead of your current quarterback on your team? John would.
Yeah, I would. You probably would as well.
It's amazing how his stats got a lot better once DeAndre Hopkins was catching the ball as well.
Who isn't catching the ball for the first 6 games of the season.
No.
So it'd be interesting to see. I don't think Kyler Murray particularly elevates the rest of the team. I think he's good for Kyler Murray, and I think he puts a lot of stuff on film that looks good, but I wouldn't want him leading my locker room. I don't think he has maturity at all.
I agree with that. I think the other concerning point I've got in Kyler Murray is when he did his ankling towards the end of last season, he didn't come back the same player that he was for the first 10, 11 games. If you've got a quarterback that's running around, he's going to get injured. If he can't recover from an injury or play differently to elevate your team and get the team to win, then you're fucked. Like, if Lamar Jackson goes down, we've seen what happens to the Ravens. They're not the same team. The same with the Cardinals. Once Kyler Murray goes down, and let's face it, he is 4'0". He is going to get hit hard and he is going to get injured. There's an issue there.
So, out of interest, who do you think is more likely to win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years, Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray?
I think Jackson.
I absolutely think Jackson.
I think Lamar Jackson coaching is much
better.
Yeah,
the team
as
well.
I'd say he's more robust as well.
I just think as well.
Kyler Murray's got a better arm.
Oh, yeah, but I think Jackson puts that team first. Yeah. It's on his shoulders. We do everything to win as the Ravens.
Yeah, and you can tell by I think it was who was the running back there? Mark Ingram. They had, and like he used to absolutely fall over himself to praise Lamar Jackson, and they all seem to love him there. And there's not been bear in mind Lamar Jackson's coming into contract year now, but there's not been the conjecture and all the hassle around it being a contract or needing a new contract. He's just come in, done his job, gone home, come in the next week, done his job, and so on and so on. And he probably will get a new contract. Like, I'm sure they're talking about it now. The only reason he probably hasn't is because he's representing himself. He doesn't have an agent who's pushing the agenda.
Yeah, I think as well. He knows that whatever happens, he'll get franchise tagged. He's not happy. He's happy to go on the franchise tag. Kirk Cousins it.
He'll do the Cousins route. Yeah,
46 million.
He says I think he's what he said. I want to be like LeBron James. I want to be a billionaire. And that's how he's going to do it. Fair enough for him.
I always think with Kyler Murray, you can look back to when we thought Cam Newton was going to win the Super Bowl, and he got strip sacked in the Super Bowl, and he didn't go in for the ball. I don't think there's a hope in hell that Kyler Murray would have dived in for the ball. He's
already halfway there.
Yeah, he's much closer to the ground, but I just don't think
he would have reached it.
I don't think he's dedicated to his team that way. He's dedicated to Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Which is fine because he's making plenty of money, but I just don't think I'd want him as my leader on my team.
I remember the argument before that well, he could go to baseball, and I realised he signed at the Oakland A's, and the Oakland A's spent $48 million on contracts for every single person in their organisation. They're the cheapest team, so possibly that's why he's also thinking, I'll take the NFL, thanks. I'll just because it's the A's, but they have signed Victor Bolden Jr. from the USFL. He was the star wideout in their championship game. he'll replace DeAndre Hopkins for the first 6 games of the season before
It's
never.
all well and good being the star wide receiver in the USFL, but he's had opportunities in the NFL before and done nothing.
He's caught 1 catch.
Yeah, there's a reason why you've never heard of him.
He's played for 3 teams.
Lions, definitely.
49ers.
Yeah.
I can't remember who else.
The name.
I'm not convinced this is going to be the DeAndre Hopkins replacement you need.
No. But in news around the league, so rookies have already reported for training camp. Veterans are expected to join this week. 2 teams, the Raiders, they started on the 20th, and the Rams started on the 23rd, have already, but most begin from tomorrow.
Raiders getting a bit of a jump start on everyone.
I know.
Regime.
But some big names currently on the physically unable to perform list. So Jalen Ramsey, David Bakhtiari, Michael Thomas, Marcus Davenport. So Marcus Davenport, Darius Leonard, and Byron Jones included. I imagine we'll see most of those by the time season
We're all
starts.
convinced Michael Thomas is coming back, are we? Because I'm not.
I don't know.
I'm not sure he's that bothered.
He's got to play at some point, isn't he? Or
Has he?
he's just ruined his legacy.
Has he? He's made lots of money. Is his legacy going to improve by having Jameis Winston throw to him? Like, Jameis putting up good numbers. Yeah, I know. But is it going to be better than it was with Drew Brees?
Yeah, of course it's not. James Winston.
And I just don't think Michael Thomas is that bothered. You cannot tell me that if he wanted to have come back in the last 2 years, he could definitely have come back.
It is
Clearly
getting a
didn't
bit
want
silly
to.
now.
Yeah, of course.
It's getting a bit silly.
Yeah, and I don't even know where you'd like someone. I don't even know where you'd end.
Where would you rank him? Is that what you're saying? John?
Yeah, anymore like 2 years because you can't go. No one's going to trade for him anymore based on because 2 years gap in a CV is too much.
I think you're wrong. I think somebody would happily give up a second round pick to find out if Michael Thomas is still Michael Thomas. Really?
I think he's got a high contract for a big unknown. So
the last time we saw him, he was about the 3rd best receiver in the
I
league.
completely agree with that. But because we've not seen him for 2 years and he's got a high cap hit, it's a big risk for any team to take, realistically. So a second round pick, that's too high. I maybe would say 4th at the very highest.
I think his numbers are brilliant, but
that was 2 years ago.
I'm with Jim because he does research about this shit. Basically.
It's so much money for a guy who's going to run 8 yards. And, it's...
I think he could do a little bit more than that.
9 yards.
It's only because Drew Brees could only throw it 8 yards.
But that's it. Like, that's what he did. I'm sure he can do it more, but it's 2 years. It's really...
It's just too long a gap. I mean, that's why Des Bryant doesn't get a gig anymore. Because he's been out of the game.
Yeah.
Like, he came back in the Ravens and
he was terrible.
No, but he was still good when he finished with the Cowboys.
Yeah, he still wasn't bad for the Ravens, but it's not a throwing offense, is it?
It's the same. I know it's long, and I know we don't mention his name, but it's the same reason we talk about Kaepernick not coming back. Too long.
He's just lost.
Been out of the league too long.
The week you weren't here, there was Kaepernicks flying everywhere.
It's Patrick, everything.
Jesus wept.
You weren't here that week when I ripped Fitzpatrick.
No,
and he was terrible.
He was, but he made such good money for a man who was so bad.
Well,
he's living the dream. He's living the dream.
Oh, John's going to bring his contract up later, I think.
I might do. So, in wide receiver news, rookie Texans wide receiver John, I think it's Mechie III, has leukemia. He's been diagnosed with acute promyelocytic leukemia. It's the most curable form of the disease, but he's not likely to play this season. And he was already coming off a torn ACL in the SEC Championship game.
I think if he had not had that torn ACL, he probably would have been drafted higher.
Yeah.
Good talent, so it's a shame that we're not going to see him for a year.
It is.
He's got the best type of leukemia, but wish him all the best.
It's still
best type of leukemia.
Did Bill O'Brien suggest this pick in the draft?
I don't mind him taking a flyer on a guy who's injured. He was talented in college.
Really
it's unfortunate, but look on the bright side. He's now having an enforced year out to recover from everything.
Actually, it's probably the best year to miss out on being with the Texans.
Yeah.
Although for Davis Mills, it's a make or break year for him, and he's already missing a wide out.
It's not going to matter. You could have Heather Mills under centre for them. It doesn't matter. They're going to be awful, right? They're going to be terrible. He's probably going to look halfway decent just for scoring the odd touchdown, but it makes no odds. They're going to be so bad. If I was Lovie Smith, I wouldn't have even taken the job. I don't know what he's doing.
Of course you wouldn't. No, that's why
final
they couldn't
paycheck,
find
isn't
anyone. Yeah,
I suppose so.
He knows he's only getting a year. Jimmy G has permission to seek a trade.
Is that even news?
I think he has permission to seek a trade.
It's actually he's had this has come out. He can talk to teams.
Haven't they been begging him to talk to teams all summer?
I just think because
please don't go for an operation. Please just leave.
I think that's the reason he's not been given permission to seek a trade, is because no one would trade for him until they've seen him throw a ball.
Yeah.
He's playing the Sam Bradford game, the year that Bradford ended up at the Vikings now. He's just waiting for somebody's lead quarterback to get injured, and he will be the first name called.
Saints, Giants. You know.
I don't think
I've heard Giants and Texans mentioned recently, and both of those would make sense to me. Like Texans, I mean, we've mentioned it. Davis Mills, really. If you
that's a massive upgrade for you.
But again,
the Giants. You go on about your wide receiving core all the time, and you've got a quarterback who can't throw the ball. Like Jimmy G can throw the ball.
We've got an injured quarterback, injury-prone quarterback. Well, okay, let's bring in a guy.
He played all the games last year.
Did he? No, he didn't, because Trey Lance played games.
A couple of games,
and then he finished the season with a broken shoulder. Like, I'm not going to have that. He's not injury-prone. We could have traded for him before, but he was having shoulder surgery. It's not going to happen because the organisation are in on trying to see if Daniel Jones is worth it. They've got Tyrod as a backup. And as well,
we possibly go wrong with that.
Jimmy G is.
We have no cap space.
Yeah, you've got no cap space.
What's the point of bringing in a guy who's going to be worth $25 million unless you guys are going to pay him off?
You bring that up though, but here's the thing, right? Tyrod would be a much better backup for Trey Lance because of the type of game he plays. So if they could work something out and you could find some cap space, there is some manoeuvring that could be done. The problem is Tyrod is worth no cap space.
That's it.
You're paying him like $700,000.
Oh no, it's towards earning some decent money. Really? We might get into that later.
Oh.
But yeah,
is this your crap game we've got to play later?
Yeah.
Okay.
Enforced fun.
You will enjoy
but no,
this.
like the Jimmy. If you're mentioning the Giants, it ain't happening. The Texans have no cap space. It ain't happening unless you get rid of him.
It's just going to be whoever gets their quarterback injured first.
That's it. Unless, basically, I think
Seattle have still got nothing, but I don't think we want to let him go there. But
they don't want to
or nothing.
They don't want to give you they don't want to give you a pick either.
No, I know they don't.
So you're going to have
just wait and see if we bin him.
Yeah. Or for the end of August is when he starts getting paid. You've got to make a decision by the end of August. If no one's got injured by then, you've got to cut him. In which case, he could go to Seattle. If no one gets injured before then, you're waiting on a trade and no one wants to give you any money. It's the same as
Baker.
But if you're Jimmy G, why would you want to go to Seattle?
If it's a job
somewhere.
Why? He hasn't got to play anywhere.
Oh no,
he's gonna make a fortune. He can have a year out. He could retire.
Presumably, he'd rather play than
he's only got
a year out.
Only $2 million of this year's deal is guaranteed. Yeah. So if he got paid off, he'd only get $2 million.
We are forgetting he's the second most successful quarterback in the league.
Okay.
Super Bowls, technically.
He's got 3, hasn't he? 3 rings. I mean,
and he's been to another
moot point.
He's been to another Super Bowl with the Niners, and he's been to what?
He's 2 championships.
In all fairness, he's criminally underrated.
Yeah.
He is, yeah.
Because, a bit like Kirk Cousins, you don't quite believe you can win with him. And that's the problem. And nobody's going to be willing to give up too much unless they have no choice. So you are going to be playing the game of who's getting injured first. For what it's worth, I still think it's completely the wrong move. I don't think Trey Lance is going to be that good. You can clip this bit as well. I think by week 8, Trey Lance is probably injured or dropped because he's been crap.
And still no Debo contract news because, of course, you can't sign him until Jimmy G's gone. Whether he turns up for practice, for the training camps this week, or he holds out, I assume he won't. We've seen no, but
you ever tried holding out at work when you want more?
Yeah.
And
I mean, I've moved jobs quite a bit over the last few years.
There's been a number of players which have held in terms of TJ Watt last year went to training camp, just didn't work out. So he went to all the meetings, just didn't do any of the physical side of it. So you could see that from Debo. Like,
you could.
I'm going to be there. I'm not going to.
Did you see JJ Watt paid for somebody's granddad's funeral?
I saw that.
Did
yeah,
that? Yeah,
the person had to
sell a JJ Watt trainers or something.
And he was like, "No, don't sell them. We've got it covered." I mean, that guy's just lovely.
Oh, he's great, isn't he?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'd be lovely if I earned that much money as well. I'm just a cunt.
Yes.
I mean, he's still like the best thing to come out the Texans in ages. I mean, but
ever.
Yeah.
You don't think Deshaun Watson's the best thing to come out of the Texans?
He's the best thing to have left the Texans.
For the Texans.
For the Texans. Whilst
we haven't mentioned that, have we? That the Texans have actually settled.
Well, it's coming up, so let's bring up.
I didn't read that bit.
The Texans agree settlement on claims with 30 women who allege or were intending to allege the team were complicit regarding the Watson case and their alleged enabling of his actions.
Right, so the maths doesn't work out here. How many people have indicted or have got a complaint against Deshaun Watson?
26.
But now there's 30.
Yeah, I know. It's I don't, but yeah, that's
Maybe some employees that just had their own gripe as well.
We've said it before. I think it was a New York Times article, wasn't it? It said there was something like 68 cases they found. It's just this number's going to keep creeping up.
It was always going to be much easier for the Texans to just move on pretty quickly because they didn't actually do it, did they?
To be fair, it's what Deshaun Watson should have done ages ago. Was just like when he had the opportunity to settle, I think with 20 of them, just do it.
Yeah,
get it done and dusted, and we wouldn't be probably still talking.
It's almost worth bringing up that time I was in Texas and he touched me up.
Well,
just saying.
John, chuck him a fiver to shut up.
I'd take that.
So the Browns signed Josh Rosen to back up Deshaun Watson. And, of course, Jacoby Brissett even, when Watson is suspended.
You hear that breath of nothingness that went through when you said that about Josh Rosen? That is the correct breath of nothingness. No one cares.
Well, they had worked out AJ McCarron alongside.
I'd rather have AJ McCarron.
My favourite thing was on this Twitter feed I saw, somebody asked the question, how many touchdowns is Josh Rosen going to get for the Browns? And there was about 2,000 responses, and I think all of them just said 0. Literally.
So
zero,
last year, AJ McCarron was the backup at the Falcons, right? He played in like 4 games in relief of Matt Ryan, and then I believe he got injured. He broke his leg or he ruptured something or other. And so they then brought in Josh Rosen. So effectively, the Browns have just worked out the 2 Falcons backups from last year and decided that the second choice backup is the one they want behind Jacoby Brissett when Deshaun Watson doesn't play. The other thing is, Deshaun Watson and Jacoby Brissett make a good tandem in that's one game plan.
Yeah.
You know, it's a limited game plan with Brissett, but it's the same game plan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what have you seen Josh Rosen? Have you ever seen him run? No, that was half of his problem was he just didn't have time in the pocket that he needed.
Yeah, even Baker Mayfield's more mobile than Josh Rosen. So yeah, I don't know.
It's poor panic planning from the Browns. It does not surprise me at all. I have noted there's been no advance on how many games Deshaun Watson's being suspended for this week. Last week,
John's in the notes. I'm surprised you haven't read the notes. In the notes, John said 6 games.
They're talking about 6.
That is ridiculous.
But that came out last week.
Yeah.
And there's been nothing
Calvin
since.
Ridley
They were
must be going batshit crazy.
It was suggested they should have an answer by the time training camp starts, which is tomorrow.
There's going to be an answer out on Friday. I thought they were going to try and dump it in the Friday news dump.
If it's 6, there will be the biggest outcry you have ever heard.
Yeah.
Like bigger than the Ray Rice outcry. It will be massive. There is no way the league might try and do it, but if the Browns have got any sense, if they get told it's 6 games, they'd say we're just going to sit him for the year, because that's the only way they come out of this with any credibility.
Yeah,
you think the Browns
of credibility?
No,
from their actions so far?
Of course not. But I'm just saying the only way they could save any face is to say.
That actually made me laugh out loud when you just said.
Well, me too. But I only agree with you. I'm just saying And I've been vocal enough about it, but I just can't see how, even if the league think, do you know what, 29 of these are a bit dubious and only one of them might have been legitimate, one's enough.
Their fan base won't care.
I think
It's
some of their
sad
fan
but
base
true.
care. I think some of the
Yeah,
fan base
I think
do.
some of them will.
A very small amount.
Yeah.
I think Alan cares.
Okay.
When I saw Alan, he was not as fussed as you'd think.
Well, he's a dick, isn't he?
Just back to Josh Rosen. I saw this on Gridiron on their Twitter feed. Josh Rosen's Twitter profile. The banner is from his time with Dolphins. The profile picture is his draft night when he was with the Cardinals, and the bio still says he plays for the Falcons. He signed with the Browns on Thursday. His Twitter profile can't keep up with his career.
How many touchdowns does he have so far? Like, I haven't looked it up. It can't be many. 12?
23?
Really? That many?
I don't know. I'm just putting a number out there.
Like, I really don't know. I'd say
I'm
it's
looking into it.
It's been around a few years now.
Yeah, what's this? His 5th year?
5th year? Must have thrown
But
for 3 or 4 a year.
He's probably only played 20 games.
12.
Thank you. 12.
Oh, hang on,
Right.
no, that was just
He
20
start- no,
that was
he's-
20 that was
Oh.
21. So career touchdowns. 21.
21.
No,
Oh,
that's
well,
it.
fuck
that
you
is-
all.
No, it is 12.
Thank
12,
you.
yeah.
21
Told you.
interceptions.
Right, so thank you. So I was right. So some of us also do our research on these things, and I thought that's what I'd read. So
12 touchdowns,
21
21 interceptions,
In-
16 starts.
how many games? 24 games has he played? Something?
16 starts, 24 games.
Yeah, 24 games. Right. That is abysmal. The guy is a washout. What are they doing? It's a terrible decision.
151 rushing yards
Look, they
to
could
back
have-
up Deshaun Watson.
They could have gone out and got Deshaun Kaiser back, so everyone got used to the name Deshaun, but they didn't.
It was
You know,
spelled
it's
differently, though, wasn't it?
Like,
Deshaun.
Deshaun, yeah.
as long as it was,
He wasn't even the best Deshaun on the league. It was
Morally,
terrible.
he was.
How's he
Who'd have
doing?
known?
How's Deshaun Kaiser doing on his matching Tom Brady rings scale?
He's a little bit behind still.
Has he not been
Where
out
is
of the league for like 3 years, hasn't he?
I don't even know where he is.
He was at
Nowhere.
the Packers as a backup, and that was it.
Yeah,
I don't think he's played for 2 years at least.
Yeah, he's still
Yeah.
a free agent.
Yeah.
He's still a free agent. He wasn't signed last year.
See,
'Cause
He's
he's terrible.
He's not played since 2018.
thank you. So like you've had the USFL and the XFL, and he couldn't get games in those.
Okay, who's had more interceptions, Deshaun Kaiser or Josh
Deshaun
Rosen?
Kaiser, he had like 24 in the first
Oh,
season.
22 in his
Yeah,
first season.
he led the league
He's
by
at
a mile.
24 of career.
He
And
was-
it-
don't you remember how awful
But-
he was?
Who's
Oh,
had
it
more
was
touch?
horrific.
Who's had more touchdowns, Josh Rosen? Or
Josh
Deshaun?
Rosen.
Josh Rosen.
It's just
11
yeah,
to 12, isn't it?
11 to 12.
Yeah. I wish I could remember anything useful, but I can remember this sort of stuff.
Yeah, no.
Kind of even more disappointed.
On the in the Kaiser mocking podcast stakes, we're doing quite well here.
He was at the Titans, but he was let go because they'd signed Matt Barkley. Fucking hell! Doesn't get much worse than that. Fuck. Okay. So the franchise tag deadline passed, and 4 players hadn't signed. So these are Orlando Brown, the tackle for the Chiefs, Jesse Bates, who's the safety for the Bengals, Dalton Schultz and Mike Gesicki, their tight ends at the Cowboys and Dolphins, respectively. Dalton Schultz and Mike Gesicki very much expected just to play on the franchise tag. Jesse Bates, I think, will probably be the same. Orlando Brown is looking, sounds like he will hold out. I don't know about...
He's going to be asking for a lot of money.
He is.
Just because he's a left tackle.
He's a very good left tackle, though.
He
Where-
is.
Who is going to pay him the money he wants? Like, where is he likely to go if it's not the Chiefs? The Chiefs need him,
Yep. I mean, it's a good fit.
so I don't know why they don't want to pay him.
I think they do. What they can't do is work out... They can't agree on the guaranteed terms on the deal.
that will just get sorted.
I'm sure it'll get sorted. It will, but it
I
might...
think he will end up with the Chiefs.
There'll
That's
be
the
some
best
posturing.
I think Gesicki will stay with the Dolphins. I think Schultz and Bates could both. This is Bates' second year on the franchise tag.
Yeah.
I think if they can't agree a deal for a safety, then for me, that's just like, well, we're going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, but he's
a good player.
obviously coming off a good year.
Yeah, he's a good player. I'd like to keep him if I was a Bengals fan. But
They've got the money at the moment.
yeah, it's a bit surprising, but
Yeah.
maybe he's just asking for what is too much for a safety. Maybe he's asking for Jamal Adams' money, and the Bengals aren't as stupid as the Seahawks. Surprisingly.
Yeah. Sean Payton, he says he's ready for a return to football.
That didn't take long, did it?
Just
Coming from he's as soon as the beginning of next season. So Basically,
Once a year
So
off.
the new
Once a year
Cowboys
off.
head coach is Sean Payton.
I'm gonna put a bet that he will not join the Cowboys.
I think he
take that
will.
bet.
I think
I
he
will
will
take that
join
bet.
the Cowboys.
I will take. Honestly, I will take. Who want? I don't like.
Five,
Paul, was
yeah,
it a
fiver,
fiver?
fiver, yeah.
I say.
I'll
Why-
bet
I
£40
love
on
taking
Paul's
money off
behalf.
Farrows.
Yeah, £40 on Paul's behalf. He's taking that bet.
He needs it to pay off all his other bets.
But no, I don't see him joining the. I just don't see Sean Payton wanting to work under Jerry Jones.
Why they're like best
But
buddies?
he's been there before.
Yeah, and it's not getting any better, is it? No one like. No, I just don't see it. I will take the £5 bet.
Sean
from
Payton
Morgan.
wants to come back and go somewhere he can win straight away.
Yeah.
If the team is still
It's the same-
90%
similar
as it
team,
is
yeah.
now, that's a team that should be in a championship game that under their current coach are unlikely to be there.
Yeah.
Especially in a weak NFC.
But as I said, my thing is,
In a terrible division with some of the worst teams we've ever seen.
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, the Commanders. Does his availability though make any hot seat hotter? Because there's going to be,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's the Cowboys, but also other
prob-
ones.
probably 3 or 4. I mean, Dable has got to be worried.
Commanders.
Panthers.
Yeah, Rule is on the hottest of
Yeah.
hot seats. That's
I don't think Peyton would want that rebuild job.
no, I don't think he would either.
Could you imagine
I
if
don't know.
Doug Pederson doesn't have a good start?
No,
Like,
I think
you could
he'll get a
imagine
couple of years.
Shad Khan.
No, I don't. I think the Jags are good.
If the Jags got any sense, then
No,
Pedersen's got
They've
minimum
made
of
some
3
good
years.
moves as well this off-season, the Jags. Jags and the Jets. Have
I
both
don't
done
think
some
the
good
Jags will be a
business.
laughing stock this year. I think
Jets,
they'll be
actually,
competitive.
A decent shout.
Yeah.
Jets,
Salah
Jets
is in
would be
trouble.
a great shout.
Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Seahawks.
actually, if he thinks there's some pieces, like if because there's definitely some talent gone into the Jets. If Salah can't get the best out of them, he might think, well, actually, good young quarterback. So I think he's been. I thought he was getting better at the end of the last season. I know you're not convinced, Griff. You know,
No,
but
shit.
Griff thinks every young.
No,
every
no,
young
I
QB
do not
shits.
think every young
No,
QB
Mac
is
He
shit.
thinks Mac Jones is
Yeah,
right.
Mac
Why,
Jones.
why
I
don't-
think Mac
why
Jones
do these
is.
first-round picks not do what that sixth-round pick did? Like, this is a joke. What are these quarterbacks doing?
That's not true. At
Not
all.
how it works, Michael.
That's not true.
It's
At all.
not reality.
I know.
Seahawks.
Seahawks.
If he
Yeah.
wants a rebuilding job and he wants to go into an organisation where he can have a big effect as general manager, seeing as they're probably, I think they're going to clear decks at the end of the year, have a couple of high draft picks, so he gets to build his own team again. I think the Seahawks could be a good shout. And like the personal ego of it, being in a league where you've got Sean McVay, Carl Shanahan, offensive geniuses, and Cliff Kingsbury.
I was about to say, is Cardinals one?
Yeah, well, Cardinals could be one as well, actually.
Yeah,
Fair
because
point.
Cliff's.
They weren't happy last year, were they,
Yeah,
with the
no, that's
playoff
a good
performance?
I think Cliff Clinkernuts is second on the hot seat behind Matt Rule. For me.
Yeah.
They won't want to make a change. With the Super Bowl being in Arizona this year, they will not want to make a change. If
They're not getting
have
to the Super Bowl, though, are they?
Nah.
No, I know, but if they don't have any kind of excitement around it, I think, but I don't think they'll want change there this year because it'll be quite a negative thing. They'll be hoping for a positive vibe this year, won't they?
I think look, Sean Payton's got such a good resume that there are going to be teams who, I mean, like the Cowboys, who probably aren't in a position to move away from their current coach, who are like, the opportunity to get Sean Payton, I'm going to take that risk.
And you're going to have to pay for him, don't forget.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but that's fine. I mean, or
I
does he
think-
just go into acting after his
Look,
fine
it is
exploits?
worth pointing out that almost all of his success, in fact, came with peak Drew Brees.
Yes.
Right now, it's the same for Belichick with Brady. Has struggled either side of that era. You don't know exactly what you're going to be getting because he isn't going to have Drew Brees. Doesn't matter where he goes. That's not Drew Brees.
No.
So it's going to have to change.
That's why I think the Cowboys is still a good shout. 'Cause
Yeah.
you've got Dak Prescott, who is not too dissimilar to Drew Brees. So that's why the Cowboys make sense from that point of view, from the team point of view, from his relationship with Jerry Jones' point of view, from the fact that he's been there before, and it's never been a big secret that he wants to coach the Cowboys. That all makes sense. Makes too much sense.
Yeah.
We're going to see some flagrant flouting of the Rooney Rule.
Isn't going to be just. Anyway, moving on. The Bucks signed Kyle Rudolph to a 1-year deal.
I like that signing.
Great replacement for Gronk.
Brady in his fucking phone book. Right, move on. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Andrew Whitworth is joining the Thursday Night Football crew alongside Fitzmagic, Richard Sherman, and Aqib Talib. They're about to...
It's a collection, isn't it?
Isn't it? They're about to release I think they did an advert over the weekend for their new... They've got... who's the bloke who did the Star Wars and... John Williams. Is it the,
Yeah.
He's doing the Thursday Night Football theme.
Brilliant.
Because, nothing says working blue collar, football than John Williams and a orchestra. But yeah, they had Fitzmagic there pretending to work the decks on the advert, and it's fucking rubbish. Devon Allen, Eagles wide receiver, appeared at the World Championships, making it to the final of the 110-metre hurdles, but was disqualified for a false start.
Do you know what? I hate that false start rule.
It's rubbish,
You only
isn't
get
it?
one go, yeah.
One mistake and you're out.
And he was 1,000th of a second too quick.
Too quick.
So you're allowed a 0.1 response time, and he was 0.99.
If there's one rule in sports I change, it would be the
Pass interference
the
rule.
pass interference rule. Then that would be a close second.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's a shame because he obviously a very, very quick bloke.
Yeah, get him the ball in.
Yeah.
Riff was confused.
I couldn't care less. Like,
Well,
if you don't want to get disqualified, don't jump the start. Easy.
well,
Like, what are you doing? Go back to your day job. Go play in the NFL. Stop trying to do a different sport.
his day job's athlete.
Was the athletics.
But he clearly wasn't good at it because he jumped the start.
It was the final. He's the fastest man in the world this year.
And what did he do in the final? He ballsed it up.
He was the fastest man in the world.
He's
this
the
year.
fastest
He's the
man in the
fastest
world.
man in the world, yeah.
He's as fast as Colin
Third.
Jackson.
No, yeah.
Wow.
He's ran the third fastest time.
Oh, quicker than 11.92 or whatever
Yeah.
Colin Jackson's was
Yeah.
for ages.
Jason McCourty has announced his retirement. He's a 13-year veteran who was a sixth-round pick for the Titans. He won the Super Bowl with the Patriots, making a famous stop on Brandon Cooks in the game.
One of the best defensive plays in a Super Bowl you will ever see because that was a nailed-on touchdown.
Yeah.
He played on the Browns the year they lost all 16 games and then came to us and won the Super Bowl because he was one of the few good things on that Browns team. He deserves a mention for that. He is always going to be the less successful of the McCourty twins because Devon played in 4 of our Super Bowl wins or something.
Yeah.
But for that one play, it's like the Malcolm Butler play, really. It should be more widely regarded. You go back and watch it, he makes up so much ground. It's terrifying. He's never been rated as that quick. Where did he come from? I mean, go and watch it. It's amazing.
It's just desire, isn't it, sometimes?
It really was. And it's just... I think it's because it was Brandon Cooks as well. I think he just thought, I'm not that guy. I've got to take his soul away like in every other Super Bowl.
I'll eviscerate his soul.
That really was obliterated the soul.
Oh, bless him. Richie Incognito also announced his retirement. The 4-time Pro Bowl guard, last with the Raiders, was great on the field, but he came with controversy off it.
Look, sometimes you've got to tolerate a little bit of racism, apparently.
And homophobia.
And that. Anything else?
Hazing. And
Jonathan Martin, was that?
Yeah,
and
that was the guy.
he went nuts in a funeral home a few years ago.
He did.
Man, the guy is... I don't know if he's a walking advert for CTE.
I was just about to say the exact same. Like, they got to test his brain.
Yeah. He is man-mountain, phenomenal at his job, but he is not on the right side of most moral fights.
Yes.
Yeah, he's from the wrong era.
Yeah.
If he was playing for the Raiders 20 years ago, he would have been absolutely loved.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
But I think even then, if he's on your team, generally you love what he does.
Apart from all his teammates, he was
Apart from his teammates, Le'Veon Bell has basically intimated that he's retired, saying he's ready for his next chapter, but his fight with Adrian Peterson is postponed as the main event fell through. Peterson wants to return to football, but the fight is penciled in for early September when the season
Bell has
starts.
finally told on his career, innit?
Yeah.
That's for you, Paul.
Okay, Madden.
I didn't realise that Le'Veon Bell hadn't already retired.
He's just been bimbling around the league, hasn't he?
What a waste.
It is a waste. Absolute waste of talent. Madden released their 99 club for the upcoming version of the game. So the 90 players who are 99 are Devontae Adams, Myles Garrett, Aaron Donald, Trent Williams. Some players are a bit narked with their ratings, but of course this year we don't have the curse of Madden.
No.
Because the front cover is John Madden,
Curse
and
has already happened.
he's already dead.
Although
They preempted the curse.
What if he comes back?
I did also.
Just saying.
Is that the curse this year?
Zombie Madden.
Just starts haunting one of the commentary
Yeah.
boxes.
comes back at Thanksgiving, just wielding a massive turkey.
So obviously, I also shared the team overall rankings, didn't I, to our NFL chat? And what do we think to that then, guys? So Texans last on 74, closely followed by the Giants with 75, Seahawks on 76, Jags on 77. You know, it's pretty dross. But the Bucks quite a lot clear at the top on 92, considering they didn't win the last Super Bowl. That seems a little harsh.
Well, I think
quite a
the
long way
top-rated quarterback is still Thomas Brady.
Yeah, but still, like they're at 92, and then you've got the Bills at 89, and the Chargers. The logos look the same. The Rams 88. Like, there's 4 clear points ahead of the Rams. Maybe it's strength and depth.
Their defense is astounding.
But the Bills,
Yeah,
it's not really weakness.
I've been very down on the Patriots the last couple of years, which is fair after the run of success. Whilst I'm okay with the fact that we're not winning, that's fine. But to see us rated the same as the Commanders is fucking offensive, right? That is not okay, because Carson Wentz is a mess of a human being.
It's what 4, 8. There are 12 teams below the Commanders.
Yeah, and 4 of them probably shouldn't be, at least.
Patriots,
the Vikings.
Yep.
the Vikings, the Steelers.
Yep.
Steelers.
Steelers
Yep.
are at 80.
Yeah.
They lost Big Ben, didn't they?
Yeah,
But Big Ben was
still,
rubbish last year.
I know. Don't shout at me. I've just shared it.
I mean,
But like compared to our power rankings,
I would
it
say-
seems a little. The top and bottom seem okay, and the middle just seems.
I would say the Jags are going to be a better team this year than the Commanders.
yeah.
Where are the
I'm
Bears?
And the Falcons.
The Bears are 78.
That's 72 too high.
The Commanders is ridiculous.
81. I mean, it might just be off the fact that they've got a decent defensive line. I expect.
The
In terms
Dolphins.
of
The
rating.
Dolphins have been given a decent rating at 83. I think. You know.
That helps. I think Tyreek Hill's a
I
98.
suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't mind that. Like the compressed middle is fine, and the Patriots are probably in about the right place. But behind the Commanders,
I don't mind the top 12. I think the Cardinals are probably a bit high.
Yeah, but they've got
Browns are pretty high without a quarterback.
Yeah. Exactly.
well, at the moment they still got a quarterback.
They've got a great roster, but no quarterback.
The Cardinals, their starting team on both sides of the ball is pretty good. It's just by week 6 they're all injured.
Yeah.
Because they're all
I suppose
the wrong
Hopkins
side of
is still on
30.
their rating.
Yeah. JJ Watt will be there. He'll be a 90 something, I'm sure.
We'll see how it pans out.
In terms of the 99 club, Trent Williams is the first 99 offensive lineman, which means Madden rates him as the best offensive lineman to have ever played the game.
I don't think that's right. That he's the best offensive lineman ever to play the game, but I think he's the best offensive tackler in the game at the moment. So, fair enough being top.
Yeah. Oh.
Speaking of edge rushers, it's not edge rushers.
Well,
Speaking of Madden ratings, edge rushers. Does anyone want to take a guess where Nick Bosa came?
is it? Well, where's Max? Max Crosby will be 3rd, so Bosa will be 4th.
Well,
Myles Garrett.
Bosa's 3rd, and Crosby's not in the top 15. Couldn't find Crosby's rating, but Bosa's 3rd with 94. Myles Garrett 99, like you say. TJ Watt 96. Khalil Mack 92.
Bad
High
year.
for someone, yeah.
Bad year. No, I mean stats
Actually,
wise.
to be fair, Von Miller at 92 as well.
Where's Joey Bosa?
Joey Bosa 91.
I'd take Joey Bosa over both of those players.
Yeah, I would as well.
Yeah. Oh well. We'll quickly move on. XFL has announced their host cities and head coaches. So Arlington is Bob Stoops. Houston is Wade Phillips. Orlando, Terrell Buckley. Las Vegas, Ron Woodson. San Antonio, Hines Ward. Seattle, Jim Haslett. St. Louis, Anthony Becht, and Washington is Reggie Barlow. No Tampa Bay or New York teams. I can't remember the other ones, but yeah, big Texas vibe to this XFL.
I mean, wasn't Hines Ward linked with the actual Texans head coaching job?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good for players like that who need, well, not maybe need, but they're going to get a bit of experience head coaching at a lower level, granted. But then,
if one of these leagues does not have the support of the NFL,
Yeah.
it does not matter. It will not survive past the end of its first return season. Like the AAF was the best one we've seen out of the three leagues that have been the XFL, the USFL, and the AAF. And it didn't survive its first season, and yet it had the biggest names of players that were, Manziel was there, and he had all these other reclamation projects that were there. Unless the NFL chooses to support a development league, it's not going to matter because the money isn't there.
There's just no point, is there? Because there's college football and then the NFL.
But the gap, but you look at the number of players in college who are brilliant and then they drop off. It's because there's no, like every other major league sport in America has a developmental league.
Minor leagues.
They all have it. Yeah. And the NFL is lacking that. And it should really be looking, because then you could play a load of their games in Europe or in China where they want to expand to. And it would open this massive market for them to play more games without piling more games into the regular season, which the players don't want. It seems like a wasted opportunity.
It does, but this one might be a bit more longer lasting.
Say that about everyone.
Well, no, but they've got Disney money behind them. They've got a TV deal with Disney.
All right, that might
which compare the last USFL one was on fucking YouTube.
If the product is rubbish, it won't matter. No one will watch.
Well, that's it. But if you've got the Disney production values behind it,
it's not even that. It's just the money and it's the exposure and getting people to watch it.
Yeah.
If it's all about exposure, then Deshaun Watson should probably play there.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
That's what she said.
So, if they manage to get people to watch it, be it in the US or globally, then it can be a success. And that's what every minor sport is. It ultimately needs is people watching it. So then you get sponsorships, then it becomes more popular. So then more people come to it, and it's perpetuating circles. Why the NFL's huge.
Yeah, but I think without the time with the NFL, I think it is doomed. But anyway, we'll come back, have a break, and come back.
Before you have a break, I want to bring up this thing that I keep getting told off about being crap on the young quarterbacks.
Oh yeah.
Right. Here's the thing. Right. Mac Jones was the best of the five. I don't think his ceiling is very high, but comfortably the best of the five rookies last year. Okay, deal. That's fine.
Well, hold on.
No.
Like,
yes or no? Was he the best of the five rookies last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best stats.
Yeah, he was the best.
I'm not sure I'm happy to say Mac Jones is better than Trey Lance yet.
Well, last season, was Mac Jones better than Trey Lance?
Well, from what we saw.
Right, okay, so we'll take that. Trey Lance is unfair. This is where I'm going with this. Trey Lance played in 6 games. Oh, okay, not many, right. Yeah. So Trey Lance, I will put at the other end of this. We are undecided. My only caveat with him is if he couldn't really push Jimmy G last season, there's a problem because he was handpicked.
But we knew he was not going to push Jimmy G.
So that's fine.
Wait, no, because Patrick Mahomes, they did exactly the same with Patrick Mahomes. Oh, you're not saying that he couldn't push Alex Smith, and here's the fucking best quarterback in the league.
But we were told when they picked Trey Lance that they're picking him and they want him and he might start straight away, and he never even looked like it.
I don't think it's just never.
But he is at the other end of the five because you can't judge him.
Right.
Just above him, you've got not Zach Wilson, but Justin Fields. Because he's in the worst situation and he didn't look ready.
All right, so that's not on the fact that the rookie is a bad rookie.
No, but he's in a shit situation. So he's in a terrible situation, but he looked bad as well. Because of course he did.
Yeah.
Then you've got very close Zach Wilson, who just looks 2 years not ready. He looks just like Sam Darnold, and he's not ready. Sam Darnold had good games.
At the end of the season, Zach Wilson started to play much better. The last 3 or 4 games,
fine.
You could really
so
see
did Sam
some
Darnold.
talent.
It'll be the same this year. He'll have 4 or 5 really good games, and the rest of them will be dire. Because that's the sort of player he is.
I'm not convinced that's true.
And then Trevor Lawrence was much, much closer to Mac Jones by the end of the season. You look at the leap that Trevor Lawrence took, it was much greater than the one Zach Wilson took last year. And Trevor Lawrence played on a worse team.
I'm not convinced that's true.
But I am.
I don't think Trevor Lawrence was that good at all. I don't think there was a lot.
Once they binned off Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence was much better.
Trevor Lawrence was actually better than what his stats and what the results showed him. He played all right towards the end of the season.
Last 4 games, I don't think there was much between Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence.
I think they're both in terrible situations. I think there's a lot more talent around both of them now. I think now that Robert Saleh and that coaching team got a year's experience as well, I think that'll help.
Assuming all 5 play the full season this season, I think Justin Fields will be comfortably the worst.
Yes.
Because he's in the worst situation.
Yeah.
And I think Trey Lance could be the best if Jimmy G goes. If Jimmy G is lurking around and they can swap him in and out, he's never going to develop now. It's because he's going to be saddled with, you're supposed to be the next thing that takes us to the championship game. And I think it's going to be too much pressure if Jimmy G is there. Honestly.
Jimmy G's not going to be there.
Well, no, but he is at the moment.
Yeah, but...
You don't know right now that Trey Lance is definitely starting week 1. You don't know
There
that.
will be...
Garoppolo's contract, I think, makes it impossible for Garoppolo to stay. Because
We can move on cheap, can't
I
we?
think the whole situation makes it impossible. Fair play to him. He played last season and he played with the right attitude. But I think part of that was because he knew that he had one last year, and he knew if he didn't play well, then there's absolutely no chance that he'd get traded or get a new contract going into this year. But I don't think he's going to want to be there this year.
Okay, let's look at it another way. You just brought up the Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes example, which is a really fair example to bring up. Yeah, we didn't know. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers as well. But let's go with the most recent one. So when Alex Smith was let go, and they said we're bringing in Patrick Mahomes, we didn't know what this guy was really going to be about. He played the last game of the previous season and was good, but we didn't know. But now you're expecting something similar out of Trey Lance?
No, I'm not saying we're expecting Patrick Mahomes.
I think the gulf between...
ridiculous.
Basically, Jimmy G is currently a better quarterback than Trey Lance. And until I see otherwise,
But you
I won't
also
believe
had,
it.
Kaepernick come in for Alex Smith.
Give me something to throw at him.
No, but
No, but it's fair.
It's
Kaepernick's
true. It's
basically
true.
got the 49ers to a Super
To
Bowl.
a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it was damn close to winning
Actually,
it.
if you go back and look, Alex Smith would have got him almost all the way there already.
But
he,
it's a very
he was
similar
very
thing,
unlucky.
isn't it? The problem is the game has changed a lot, and we are asking these quarterbacks now to do so much more than they've ever been asked to do.
Yeah.
So your amount of error, like before, you could look at the kind of different things you see coming out of college. Right? Okay, these are their attributes. They can throw the ball as we want them to. They can manage the game. They can choose the right option between the 3 options we give them, and they can stay upright. That is literally it. 20 years ago. Whereas now you're asking them to make about 18 decisions.
Yeah.
So it means that the opportunity for them to look awful is so much bigger.
But this is why the league
opportunity
needs
for
a
them to get
developmental
injured.
league. Because
Yeah.
last
So
year,
much
Trey
better.
Lance would have been much better off starting 12 games in a developmental league than sitting watching Jimmy G basically stop him getting into the first team.
Yeah, but that's not taking into account what's happening in the background, is it? And the discussions with
No.
coaches and all those kinds of things that we just...
But if
we
each
don't
team
have.
was assigned, right, this division is going to support this team in a developmental league, and they were helping the players and feeding things through, you'd get much better results from
But
these
then
youngsters.
the teams, if they say that the Niners have already got Trey Lance and they have to ship him out, the Niners take all the risk. So they put out all the outlay to sign him,
They can afford the
and then
risk.
they take all the risk. No, well, they can't, can they? Because if they spend 2 first-round picks getting a quarterback and they lend them to someone in the XF3 and they lend him to someone in the XFL and he breaks his leg,
And you spend 3 first-round picks on him, and he never develops into a decent starter.
at
What's
least
the
that's
point?
down to us, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's not the answer, is it? You should be giving him the best opportunity to succeed,
Then
and
they
you're
shouldn't-
not.
They shouldn't come to the
He's in a
draft,
pretty-
should they?
Well, he's in a pretty decent opportunity. I think out of all the out of all the year 2 quarterbacks, I think he's in one of the best
The
situations.
team
possible.
surrounding him is the best
Team
of them.
surrounding
Yeah.
him, and when I say team, I mean the defense is good enough.
The
to-
coaching,
coaching's
everything.
good,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Running game, if Debo comes back, he's got 3 good pass catches in Kittle, Debo, and Brandon Ayuk. Like, he is in the best situation.
Lamar didn't come out first season, did he?
No, he came
Sat
in,
behind Flacco.
sat behind Flacco
Yeah.
for 10 games or so.
Dak sat behind Tony Romo.
We didn't.
I think the two.
Didn't he?
You've said
No.
this. You've said this numerous times.
Only because of injury, but
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
due to.
You said this numerous times this evening that the way Trey Lance is going to play the game is completely different to
Yes.
the way Jimmy G. So that's why I believe that there was never an intention to play Trey Lance last year. The team was set up for
Yeah.
Jimmy G. Now they've got Trey Lance has got a whole season's experience in terms of like figuring out what happens in an NFL team versus the college team. He obviously played at a very low level in college. He's had a full off season. He's going to have a full off season, being the number 1 quarterback, working the receivers week in, week out, day in, day out. And there's going to be a game plan which Shanahan has now had 2 years to figure out How do we get the best out of him? So he is in the absolute top.
And of course, Shanahan only has a winning record with Jimmy G,
But yeah,
who is a completely different start. So what makes you think Kyle Shanahan can win a lot of games with Trey Lance?
Right, so
Because Kyle Shanahan is not as good as everyone tells me he is.
I completely disagree with
I know you do, but you're wrong. I think he's wildly overrated. Wildly
two
overrated.
2 championship games in 3
Yeah,
years.
yeah, absolutely. With Jimmy G.
Terrible.
With Jimmy G.
Yeah, but you're saying that, but look at all the games he almost lost with such a shit quarterback like Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard.
Yeah.
We were.
I have no beat.
But you can't tell me that right now.
We were not getting absolutely destroyed in those games. We were almost winning those games. There were a number of games we almost won with Brian Hoyer. You get a little step up in terms of getting to Jimmy G, and suddenly you win it. So
that's a big step up, Jimmy G. And Trey Lance is probably closer to CJ Beathard than he is to Jimmy G.
I don't think that's true
right now
whatsoever.
I absolutely think it could be. I think there's as much chance.
Based on what?
Or what are you basing his potential success on?
Based on the fact that they spent three first round picks. So scouting's come into it, obviously, and actually they're 49ers.
Let's pick all the terrible first round quarterbacks that have been.
Plus, we have seen a couple of games where he has looked actually pretty decent.
He looked all right. He didn't look decent. He looked
For a rookie
okay.
quarterback, he won one game and lost another one. Yeah. And he won one game pretty well. He made some really good throws.
Yeah, he did make some good throws.
He can. I think the thing that excites me about Trey Lance, and look, I've had my doubts about Shanahan in the past. I can't deny that. But, he has, in the years where Jimmy has been fit and he's had a decent quarterback, we have got, to the championship game, which you cannot deny.
Absolutely.
I think there's a little bit of nervousness in the big moments from Shanahan. That annoys me. I think he could go into his shell, and that worries me that there might be only so far he can take the team.
Is Kyle Shanahan the Kirk Cousins of coaches?
No.
I think I like Kirk Cousins, so maybe.
Maybe.
But Trey Lance, I think the thing that excites me is he can really throw the ball.
Yes, he can.
Properly throw the ball. And he's big. He is very big. He's like 6'5". He's a unit.
Bigger than what you think.
And he's very physical. And they've got to work on when to use his attributes at the right time. And Shanahan could get a little bit too cute at sometimes. And how simple he keeps it will be really important in this first proper year for Trey Lance. But his ceiling is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's played 2 games.
Yeah, but the potential.
The Seahawks and the Texans. He lost to the Seahawks and he beat the fucking Texans. And I'm bored now, so let's go have a break. Welcome back. So we've had a break. We've discussed golf, and now I just want to shoot myself in the face. But before that, we had quite a long discussion in the first half of the podcast. This one was quite short. We're just going to play a game of Play Your Cardinals Right. So I'm going to name a quarterback. Then I'm going to name another one. You have to guess whether it's higher or lower. And then we're going to move on. So if the first person I mention is Russell Wilson, who's on X, and then the next person I mention is Jacoby Brissett.
We're going with yearly average, John.
Yearly average. So
Yearly average what? Rating?
no
Contract.
Oh,
Value.
contracts.
So
Who is the
mentioned
highest
that, didn't
paid?
who is the highest paid? Well,
Right.
none of these are going to be the highest paid because obviously,
We know who that is.
if you get to Aaron Rodgers, he's the highest paid. But we're going to start with Andrew Dalton. He's the starter for about
6.
He should never
15.
be a starter again.
Is he on more or less than Lamar Jackson?
More.
I'm going to say more because I'm terrible at this game.
So Dalton's on $3 million a year. Lamar Jackson's on 2.36.
He's only on a $9 million deal, Lamar
He's on,
Jackson.
he's on his rookie contract still.
So taking that for Lamar Jackson, Drew Lock.
Less. Said that now. I think I'm sticking with them.
It is less. He's on 1.7.
He's a lower round pick.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts,
More.
1.5.
Oh,
So you're both out. Griff, it's on you now.
I didn't say anything. You jumped in.
No. So you've done all right. So 2 out of 3. But
The amazing Jalen Hurts, by the way,
the amazing Jalen Hurts. Case Keenum, Bills.
as a backup.
Yeah.
he's on more than Jalen Hurts. Or was he on the league average now?
He's got to be more.
Well, I don't know. Was he out of his contract? Did he get paid off before he moved?
I think he's on the veteran minimum,
Which would mean he's on.
900,000.
So that's less then.
So less.
3.5 million.
Fucking hell.
I thought more.
And this is why I don't say anything. 'Cause I'm terrible at this
So
game.
3.5 million. Nick Foles of the Colts.
God.
I think he's on less now.
No, I think he's on more.
I think he's on like.
I think he's out of
4.5.
his all of his Jags money. I think he's on less.
Gary for the win. 3.1. Daniel Jones.
Whatever it is, it's too much.
It's
He's on his
more.
rookie deal. So
Yeah, but it's. Oh, hang on, that's 4th year rookie deal. It's not his option, is it?
No, he's got to be on less.
less.
More.
Fuck.
Jesus, those first round picks, man.
First round picks. So, Sam Darnold.
More.
More.
So, Jones was on 6.4
Jesus
average,
Christ.
average year. Sam Darnold, 7.5. Teddy Bridgewater.
Less.
Back
Less
foot
than
He's a
that now.
backup. Yeah. I mean, he's a good backup, but he's still a backup.
6.5.
Yeah.
Still, yeah. Marcus Mariota. Starter,
Just
expected,
moved, didn't he?
but he's
been a
just
backup
he's
for
been a
me.
backup
He's
for
on
2 years.
less.
He's a backup who's starting, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like
He's less.
4.2.
Yeah, less.
9.4 million.
Whoa. Even I think that's too much money for Mariota. That's twice the money.
Someone's
he should
agent really got their money, really worked,
So
got paid there.
9.4 for Marcus Mariota.
That's too much money.
More or less, Jameis Winston.
Less.
Less.
He didn't-
More, 14 million.
He went on less, but then he signed a new contract, didn't he?
Yeah, he got
When
yeah.
Peyton was there, he went
He was
on the
mid-
minimum.
less- more or less minimum,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like $1 million, I think he
Yeah.
might have been on, something like that.
So hang on, Marcus
all performance
Mariota
rate.
and Jameis Winston are on $23 million between.
They are, yes. So Jameis Winston, 14 million.
Still less than
Burrow,
Murray.
first pick, Super Bowl
Less.
loser,
Yeah, less.
9 million.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill,
He's on more than that.
More.
yeah, 29 million.
Oh,
20 million more than Joe Burrow.
that is a solid 9 million too much.
Thomas Brady, more or less than 29 million.
He was on 25, but he did go up slightly. He
I'm
might be on
gonna
about
say
27.
I think he's on less.
Yeah.
It's 25.
He was
20,
25.
still
yeah.
on 25. That's average.
Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo,
He's on,
Less.
well, no, not average. He's on more than that average.
Average, yeah, it's probably
More.
more.
27
Yeah.
and a half.
Yeah,
Russell
this
Wilson,
year was
Yeah.
17 or nothing, wasn't it?
Sorry.
Russell Wilson, more or less than Jimmy Garoppolo, averaged over his contract.
It's got to be more now, surely.
He didn't negotiate a new contract with
Did he not?
Denver.
He didn't
No.
know.
Oh, okay then.
I think it's going to be less.
Of course, it's more. It's fucking
Thank
Wilson.
Right, okay.
35 billion.
Ages ago.
His contract is about 2 years old, but
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, he signed that contract, was in bed with Sierra.
For about two
Yeah.
minutes, he was the highest paid player in the league, wasn't he?
Carson
About 2
Wentz.
Probably.
Oh, it's got to be less.
Less,
than
but he's on about
35.
30.
Yeah, it's a
isn't he?
ridiculous
It's
amount.
32 million.
Yeah.
More or less than.
I would pay John 32 million to be my quarterback over Carson Wentz. And John's got tiny arms, as we know.
True. Dak Prescott, more or less than
More.
Carson Wentz.
More.
Has he got his contract?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
got
got
contract.
paid last
Oh,
year.
then
year.
yes, more.
40 million.
Yeah, it's 40,
Yeah.
yeah.
Matt Stafford.
Less. He did.
Less.
He took,
Yeah, he took less.
He
Yeah,
took
yeah.
a less
Friendly
deal, yeah.
29.
No,
You get
it's
nothing
still
for a
30s.
draw.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Nothing for
40
two in the
million.
bed.
Nothing for two in the bed.
Love
Yeah.
that for two
So
in the
that's how it ends. It's just a quick one. Basically, just there are some quarterbacks on.
There was a quick ending with two in the bed there, John. Has that often happened to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Especially two men.
Nothing wrong with it. But yeah, there's some guys who are making. I'm not going to say they're stealing a living, but Carson Wentz is stealing a living.
Yeah, he really did get paid, didn't he?
He really did. Whoever.
What were the Colts doing?
No, that was the Eagles that paid him.
Was that
It was the Eagles that paid him,
then-
yeah.
But the Colts took him.
Yeah. I mean, give him one chance. I can see. I can.
They managed to ship him out
Yeah,
somehow.
fair play. They shipped him out quickly, but I can understand them taking him. I never understood the Commanders taking him.
Well, they just wanted a quarterback, didn't they? And basically, at the time, they wanted to bring one in. Carson Wentz's the only one available.
Yeah, they absolutely shot their bolt. They should have waited for Baker or Jimmy or anybody else.
I mean,
because he's terrible.
It's a shame they're such a well-run organisation. But they've made one big error.
It's going to be hilarious when Taylor Heineke is starting ahead of him by week 8.
Yeah, they literally could have got Jimmy G for like half the money.
I mean, literally, Taylor Heineke.
Probably on half the money.
Oh,
Less than half the
You're on
money.
about 3 million, Heineke.
I've got all their wages here. Bet I can find him. It's quite low.
Yep. Still searching.
700 grand.
Still scrolling.
No, a bit more than that. 1.8. I'm going to say.
Okay, who do you reckon earns more? Taylor Heineke or CJ Beathard?
CJ Beathard.
Oh, Beathard's been around a bit, yeah.
CJ Beathard is the backup at the Jags.
Jags.
Yeah.
They've got cap space to burn.
So the players earning more money than Taylor Heineke include Geno Smith, Joe Flacco, Colt McCoy, Jordan Love, Mason Rudolph.
Jordan Love's a first-round pick. He's got a
Yeah.
decent
Yeah.
contract.
And out of that group,
Kyle
you named
Allen.
Colt McCoy is comfortably the best quarterback in the 6 you've just named.
Fucking no, he isn't.
Oh, he is. Name those 6 again.
Oh, yeah.
The 6 you've just named.
Joe Flacco, Geno Smith. Yeah, Jordan Love.
What is the point of Jordan Love?
Mike White.
Like, literally.
What is the point of
The point of Jordan Love was to get more out of Aaron Rodgers.
That is,
I know.
I know we've talked about it before, but
Yeah.
like when he comes up randomly in conversation because you forget he's even an American football player, like that is madness. Like,
Yeah.
surely just trade him away. Now you've moved on from that. Just
Who's
like,
going to take him?
I don't know. Like,
I mean, he's got less tape than Trey Lance, I think.
it's just like a random thing, isn't
2
it?
games? Well, so he's got as much tape as Trey Lance. He's been in the league a year longer.
And, you know, when it comes to Lamar Jackson's contract, like, the guy is an MVP. He's earning the person just below him in the ratings, in the contract rating, Blaine Gabbert.
Well, he's earned literally $9 million across his rookie deal, across the whole lot.
Focus it. The guy...
And he's about to get paid, which is why he's doing what he's doing. But it's just over $9 million for his entire rookie contract.
Yeah, even though he is a first round pick,
Late first round.
yeah, it was 32nd pick overall. The scale out once you go outside that top 10 just drops off a cliff. And once you're outside the first round,
Have you got
so
the
team friendly?
Have you got the all-time comparison for what Sam Bradford earned over his career?
No, I haven't.
Because it was amazing. It was something like 240 million across his career.
Yeah,
For like
that agent,
30 wins. It was amazing.
Again, that agent earned his money that day. Well, those several days, like absolutely brilliant.
I mean, yeah, up around Russell Wilson, you've got Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr is up. He's up
decent.
around.
Brady money, isn't he? 25?
No, he's on Josh Allen money.
Yeah, I was going to say
He's over 40 million.
Recently.
Yeah.
Wow.
This year, this off season, did he get a new contract?
Yeah.
He might have done,
He signed a new contract, but he signed.
That's right. He was on 20 odd, and
Yeah,
then he's
yeah,
jumped up. Yeah.
But I think he signed quite a franchise-friendly contract
Yeah,
as well.
the way
'cause
it's
not
structured.
not a lot of it's guaranteed as well. But
Same with Kyler Murray.
But yeah, no, like Kyler Murray has 103 million, 100 to 160 million guaranteed. Derek Carr has 25 million guaranteed.
Wow.
Sam Bradford, his career record as a starter after 8 years was 34 and 45, having earned 124 million, meaning that per win he was paid 3.647 million.
Good work.
What a career!
How much did he make in a
124 million in his 8 seasons.
I mean,
That's
But that is
not
why
bad.
they changed the rookie contracts.
Yeah.
Like, he was the last, big pay of rookie contracts before
He was the very
CBA
last,
came in.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's gone a bit too far the other way, but
If you divide it by working knees, he's technically on like 200 million.
yeah, exactly.
Because he was.
Griff, here's one for you. We just discussed them. Kyler Murray or Derek Carr.
for this coming season or for the rest of their career?
This coming season.
Derek Carr.
I think you'd have to take Murray.
I think Murray's ceiling, if he's managed correctly, is much higher. I just don't know.
And he's much younger.
And I just don't know if Cliff Kingsland is the right person to manage that. So right now, I'd take Derek Carr.
Well, as well, Derek Carr has a fully fit
coach.
Devontae Adams
Right, and
as
he's
well.
got a new head coach, so.
I did see that this week Devontae Adams said it's going to be tricky with two different quarterbacks going from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer. And you're like, that's what he said. He thinks Derek Carr's going in the Hall of Fame. Now, I'd say he's got less chance than Phillip Rivers, and we've had this debate a lot.
Just checking that the Raiders haven't signed Cam Newton.
You think Cam Newton's going in the Hall of Fame?
At least he's got an MVP.
Sorry?
Why didn't the Browns sign Cam Newton instead of Josh Rosen?
They'd have been better off with Cam Newton,
Yeah.
yes. I don't know. I suspect he's decided to quietly shuffle off into the ether after he was terrible last year. Great running back, though. Great running back.
He doesn't strike me as that type of person.
So I'm just looking in the Raiders division. He's on 40.5 million. Mahomes is on 45 million. Russell Wilson's on 35. What's the other team?
Herbert's will be very low.
Herbert's is quite low, but
Yeah,
He's on a rookie deal still.
yeah, exactly.
he's on 6.6. But yeah,
He'll be eligible for him and Joe Burrow are eligible for new contracts after this year, aren't they?
yeah.
Like if the Bengals and Chargers don't sign them up as quick as possible,
It's going to cost them a lot if they don't.
well, they'll underline their status as badly run or traditionally badly run organisations.
Yeah, but anyway, that's enough for that. We can we've gone on long enough. Just let's take a break, and we'll see you next week. But until then, we'll see you soon.